me, anything is possible, including what happened at E3, and including me being live right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live once again. Return of level 6 of the Level Up broadcast with featuring myself and Brooklyn Boss. And we got a slew of people here. We are happy to bring you E3. I'm excited. Y'all excited? I'm not excited. Am I the only one?
Woo!
Yes,
Excitement.
sir.
I'm actually sore as of last night's performance.
Okay.
Ooh.
I
I'm
don't
not sure
wanna.
how that happened.
I'm not sure either. But speaking of which, we got some guest people in here. We got some very special guests. We have. Let's start here. I'm gonna switch it up. Of course, we got Dre in here.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Dre. I'm from U1891, and I'm happy to be here once again. This is like what my second or third time on this.
Yep.
I can't remember, but so
Second.
yes. So I'm excited. Can't wait to talk about this E3.
Yes, sir. All right, Josh. Josh, can you hear us? Go ahead and introduce yourself, Josh. Oh, okay.
We have
All
technical
right.
issues.
All right. Justin.
Hi. It's my first time here. I'm Justin from the Slowless Network, and I'm happy to talk about some of the good and bad stuff about E3.
Oh boy, I'm ready to. Oh, and we got another special guest here, one I haven't talked to in a good minute. Light and Dark Vin. What's going on?
Hello, everybody. I've actually been inactive for quite some time, but I am still, in a sense, a correspondent to both Lawrence's network and somewhat to Cola D's network. That's another story from here on out. Glad to be here.
All right, and of course, the veteran, the OG, the man with the plan, the boss of Brooklyn, Brooklyn boss.
That's what's up, bro. What's up, everybody? Brooklyn boss of Game Craver Gaming. Let's get this E3 conversation popping. Let's get it shaking.
All right, let's jump right into it. No trampoline. Let's get it. We're gonna start with Sunday. Oh man, Sunday was a kind of slow day. So, EA and Bethesda. Did anybody watch Sunday? Anybody watch Sunday?
I saw
I was
EA's, but I
well
didn't
caught
see.
up with it.
Yeah, I saw EA's, but I didn't see Bethesda's because I went to sleep.
Okay, I saw both. Both of those, you had every right to be tired. I mean, EA was very.
Oh my God.
In my personal opinion,
Am
EA
I,
was
wait a
kind of
minute, am I allowed to
lackluster.
curse in here or like?
You are welcome. You are welcome to say
Okay,
however you
yeah.
feel. I
What
ain't
the
tripping.
fuck was that? What the fuck was that? That was like the most boringest press conference in like the last few years of watching E3 that I've ever seen. I was so freaking bored.
But the
Okay,
question was, did it beat Ubisoft's performance?
Did it be?
it
We'll get
did.
into.
Ubisoft actually beat EA this year.
I like to have a few words with that.
Look, no,
Uh-oh.
that was boring hell. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just like they were talking about sports games and all this tournament stuff.
I
And I'm
mean,
just
this
like,
is EA we're talking about.
I know.
Yeah,
But I'm
they
just
built
like,
their thing on sports, so you got to give them credit for that. Let's go.
I mean, I give them credit for that, but I'm just like, great, dang, this
Okay.
it?
Okay. Brooklyn, anything on us? I don't know if you've seen it.
I mean, yeah, I did catch bits and pieces of both. I think Ubisoft did a very spectacular job. EA came with what we expected, but Ubisoft had some bangers in there that had the room lit. So I think Ubisoft got that this round.
Ubisoft.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
All right. See that's definite. That's a definite. I'll give them that. So EA, the only thing that saved EA, the only thing, and this is
Wait
my
for it.
personal opinion, is Battlefield. Okay, Battlefield 1.
Let's fucking go.
Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2. Titanfall, and I went back and looked at trailers for those, and Titanfall 2 looks like it's going to be good. I know Brooklyn's going to be loving that Titanfall 2 when it come out.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally added another single player story. They added some things, they added their storyline. They added a lot of other stuff, so I'm happy about that. They did some changes, so I'm looking forward to it. That's actually one of the few games I'm looking forward to. that's not a few first-person shooter games that I'm looking forward to because I'm kind of burnt out on FPSs. I'm sorry, but I'll definitely say those two games saved the EA press conference. Bethesda was just straight up boring. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of missed it. We wasn't missing out on nothing.
I tend to avoid most Bethesda performances. The only thing that I think was okay for me was Prey.
Wait,
No,
what do you
no
call
offense to
it?
no offense to the Skyrim people, no offense to Dishonored people. No, I tend to avoid Bethesda altogether.
What do you call them?
I don't know the actual pronunciation. That's Bethesda.
No, okay, no, I thought it was Bethesda or something. Yeah.
No, I think it's Bethesda.
Okay,
All I know is I tend to avoid their games. No offense to the people that enjoy their expansive worlds, but nothing for me when it comes to Bethesda, whatever they're called.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Well,
Besides Prey. Prey
I mean,
was pretty.
they shared a lot of stuff, to be quite honest. And I mean, let's be real. A lot of people might not play Fallout, but I play Fallout. Big fan of it. They brought the modding this year. Also, they've showed DLC that's going to be coming actually next month as well. So I think that alone, far as that by itself, not even mentioning Skyrim, is big. But then the
Yeah.
fact that we're going to be in Skyrim, which is one of their biggest games that was critically acclaimed last generation. I mean, that's real big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also feel, but I feel like Bethesda is like you already know what you're getting, so like a press conference from them is going to be boring no matter what, because like we all know the games, we already know
Either
what
a
we're gonna get.
refresher or maybe, if you're lucky, new games.
Yeah, but they're
Okay.
probably gonna be still.
And
Formatted.
Ubisoft, and since we're talking about the smaller companies instead of before we go into the big ones, Ubisoft, real quick. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead to Ubisoft here. Of course, they discussed Just Dance 2017.
Let's not forget that this is the 30th anniversary too.
Can
Yeah,
I say one thing about them though? I don't know
Go
what it
ahead.
is about Ubisoft, but like, I mean, they be doing the most with these press conferences for whatever reason. It's just like last year they had, what was it, Jason Derulo, who'll come out and do a musical performance, and now we gotta have another one. I'm like, okay, Ubisoft. So I mean, they did the most, but I will give them this. They did it. I feel like it was better this year than last year, because last year was just like, oh god, y'all doing the most. Get on with it. Get over with it. Be over with it. But I was actually fairly, I enjoyed it. That even though there was a bit some things, I'm just like, okay. But I actually did enjoy. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah.
Props to the Queen opening, but the dancing was like, But I forgave him for the fact it was Just Dance. Like, well, you have to have your obligatory Just Dance sequel hook, whatever, in here.
I mean, I guess, but I'm just like, did we really do? I mean, come on, was it? Aren't they? Was it? They're the only people that did the whole musical opening. I'm just like, okay. Hey, so is this what I'm to expect with y'all? Like, cause you did last year and this year. I'm just like, okay.
It's gonna be their opener for every year. Mark my words.
Watch it. Watch. Next year, watch. Next year they're probably gonna be doing Prince or somebody. I'm just like, Lord Jesus.
I wouldn't be
You heard it here first, guys.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. Okay, would not be surprised at all. But let me see what else they covered. Ghost Recon. Now, okay, here's another one. Here's a good one actually. This one was actually good. Ghost Recon. Okay, Ghost Recon was actually pretty good. They had the gameplay. Was now I know a lot of people weren't really. I know a lot of people aren't really fans of it, but I actually. In this one, this Ghost Recon was actually pretty good. I will give them that. The gameplay, the way they have the games looking, I thought it was amazing. I like how you can attack the mission from any angle. Kind of reminded me of what's that game? Metal Gear Solid 5. A little bit to where you can attack it something from a different angle. So and it's 4-player co-op. So I definitely
I'm
like
trying
that.
to remember. Wait a minute, was Recon that one game where it was like you could be on a motorbike and you can be shooting people?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I don't know what it was, but I'm just like, for some reason, the idea of being on a motorbike and shooting people, that actually interests me. I don't know why.
And then skipping up to South Park. The South Park game, of course.
I'm so excited for that game. I'm just like, yes, I need it. I need it first of all in my life. Yes.
That's the one game I was kind of confused, but again, I'm having the mindset that, hey, there's an audience for this, so why not?
Right, exactly. And South Park was okay. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of South Park myself, but they did a pretty good job of it so
Hmm.
far. I liked it.
Yeah, but that's a niche. That's a niche group of people that
Very
really
true.
follow that now. Like
Yeah.
that's not this generation. I don't think gets it like how in the early 2000s you got it, or even before that. So
Right.
I think
Yeah,
that that's still a niche group of people that are looking forward to that game. And I'm not saying it's not going to do well, but I think that it's not going to do as well as people think. And I mean, it looks like a cartoon, looks like what it is, but I think overall, I don't think that's going to appeal to the masses. At this
Oh
point.
no, well, no, like you said, it's a niche group of people. It's like people like say like
South Park fans
from what
basically.
we from like what maybe like we were from people like yeah, words gone. Okay, basically it was
Rest in
gonna appeal to
peace.
people like me who grew up with South Park, or maybe like people like you guys. But it's like but younger kids, no, this is not gonna appeal to them. They're probably sitting there
Right.
like they're probably sitting there being like, oh, what's a South Park? Where
Yeah,
is
and the title is
that?
kind. And the title is funny though. Fractured butthole. That is so funny. I like that. That is
Basically a play on basically being butthurt, and I'm just like that's so funny.
that
Now,
is
mind
I
you,
funny.
was that was very clever.
the only thing I was a little bit like kind of just like okay about was when they were just like they're kind of gonna take like a spin on the whole like Civil War aspect. And then I'm just
Yeah,
like, why am I not surprised?
of
Why am I
course.
not surprised that they're gonna make fun of the was it freaking Civil War? Or I'm just like,
Exactly.
we just cannot get away from that movie at all.
Right.
They also
Exactly.
made fun of your mom. No, seriously, they did.
Yeah, they did make fun of the moms. Walking in on your mom and things. That was. I'm
Oh
like, okay,
God.
that they finally did it. They're like, go ahead. It was.
That
It's
was
basically
clever.
like it's like another South Park episode. So, um,
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the way that they make the game, they make it, as authentic to the show as they can. So, I mean,
right.
that's
Exactly.
why it does feel like an episode. Oh, like I said, but yeah.
Okay. Next up, of course, they talked about the division. The expansion packs that were coming, the underground expansion pack and survival, which was already in the works. This was already in the works. So
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Call of Duty is not until that's not Josh. That's not until something else. That's another company.
It still needs to be, in fact.
But yeah, Division. So we're looking. Like I said, for those that are fans of the Division, you guys will be looking forward to that. June 28th for the Underground. The Survival isn't until a little bit later.
Not to bring the elephant in the room, and that's what kind of makes me a little bit concerned for Wildlands. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm kind of glad Wildlands doesn't have no skill system, none of that fluffy bullshit.
Uh-huh.
Because I think that's one thing that actually hurt the Division. The Division was kind of like touted as the Destiny killer, and I think the Division tried too hard
Your
to
mic is
emulate.
messing up.
Yeah, your mic is cutting out.
And well, let me start over then. Not to bring the elephant in the room, but I think Wildlands is going a different completely path. In fact, more towards the path of
Your mic is cracking, bro. Like, sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but your mic is cracking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's see. Hold on.
All right, but yeah, while we're fixing that, go ahead and fix that real quick, and then we'll get back to that in a minute, okay?
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Then let's go ahead and knock out the VR stuff out the way real quick. I made fun of this the last time, and I'm making fun of them again. Eagle Flight. Woo!
They were put. They are pushing that like so hard. I'm just like, okay.
Oh man, Eagle Flight and Star Trek Bridge Crew. Um, that I don't know about those. I'm not really like I said. The VR, I have to believe it when I see it. This one actually kind of got my attention a little bit. For Honor.
Oh yeah, For Honor.
That
I
was.
love that. Looks so good. I want to play as a samurai so bad.
I thought it was. At first, I thought it was going to be a RTS, a real time strategy game. But
Mm-hmm.
but after looking at the gameplay, they did a pretty good job. I think I think it might be something I might look into getting soon. So
Oh yeah, because I know that was it I was because I don't know, it was like last year they announced it and I was just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about For Honor, but now that we actually get to see like some actual like gameplay, hey, which also can I just say I am so glad that this year we're getting more gameplay play of games
yes,
than we did last year. Or can we just get
yes,
like a woohoo for that?
yes. Woo!
Because last year it was looking real dry as far as gameplay. play, so but actually seeing like gameplay and actually seeing like how characters play, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm just like in love with it, and I'm really excited for Honor. Or I, I think it
I,
was it.
I give you that. Now, this is my first time seeing it. I
Mhm.
didn't see it last year. I didn't get a chance to see it.
No, honestly, they didn't say much. Like, I mean, they didn't really have like any. It wasn't as in depth last year as it was this year. Like the whole,
Okay.
war between the Vikings, the Samurais, and who else was it? It was the Vikings, the Samurais. What else was it?
Like I'm like a what is it, like a Viking samurai and like some type of warrior or
See, I don't
You have
see.
a
Asia.
knight. I think it was a knight. I think it was a knight.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah,
was the
yeah.
only. Yeah, and yeah, they didn't say too much about it. So you're just like, for honor, or what is this all about? But no, but now we're actually seeing like what the story is. I'm just like, oh my god, I just like, I love it. I'm in love with that game. I want that game so bad.
Right, exactly. Now, Lightning Darvin, is your thing working?
Yes, I was gonna say testing.
Okay. Yeah. Now talk. What were you saying about the division thing? Yeah, you said division was more of a Destiny cash cow or something like that.
Well, everyone was talking about it was like the Destiny killer, and I think that's what really hurted it. At
Uh,
first, when the first, if you remember the fantastic E3 premiere about 3 or 4 years ago, they
uh-huh.
had the skills, everything. You can level it up. You can switch on the fly, which you still can, by the way, but you
Yeah.
can really level up the skills, and I think that's what really hurt it. Wildlands,
Mm.
on the other hand, I'm kind of glad they're straying off of it, and they're going more like Metal Gear Solid. The different
Mhm.
tactical advantages you have from going from the side, going guns blazing, or going stealth mode. I think that itself is going to help Wildlands. The only thing I'm really concerned is I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but I'm hoping it doesn't get a downgrade.
Mm.
Hold on, what game you talking about? The Division?
Yeah, division. Yeah.
I mean, I think that as far as the fidelity is concerned, obviously you're gonna have the most optimist gameplay experience on PC. I think that being that we already have it and it's out in the wild, I mean, I have it on the Xbox One, and I mean it's decent enough. I mean, it also gives you the options to even make the world or the fidelity even more sharper.
Mm.
That's something that many games don't even offer on consoles. As far as the DLC, I was a season pass buyer of it. I'm surprised that it took so long for this DLC to come out, but we also got updates up until this point. And I think that I agree with you to some extent. I think that it did take some of the plots and ploys that Bungie used with Destiny, and with the microtransactions and things of the nature, far as locking you out of certain areas of the game until you either get past the paywall by paying. But I think ultimately, depending on the DLC, we're gonna have to see if it got any legs after this DLC comes out, because are they going to open up the map even more? Because if you play the Division, you kind of see how the map is kind of condensed to one particular area, and there's
Hmm.
several other boroughs in New York City. So we don't know if it's going to
Right.
expand upon that, or even expand of going out of state to other cities. Who knows? But I think that we got to wait and see what the DLC does first.
All
Hmm. I
right.
mean, I'm just more concerned at the fact that I hope Ubisoft, what they showed right here at E3, it doesn't get downgraded. Because if that's the case, I give Dissect most of the time their fidelity is displayed exactly as shown. I just hope Wildlands doesn't suffer a downgrade, if not worse, the mechanics are stripped down even further. They're further down than what you see.
Mm. Okay. That's an
That's a good
interesting.
reason though. I mean, you got a hell of a point, because look what they did with Watch Dogs. I
Oof.
mean, that was a complete
That still
letdown,
hurts
and
me to this day.
absolutely. So I mean, that's a real good reason to really got an expectation to think about. Before you buy this game, are they gonna do that? I don't think they could at this point, because that would completely destroy any type of assurance that a lot of people have within the company. Even though they still make games that are good, I think that when it comes to fidelity, we can't accept anything less than what they present.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. And speaking of Watch Dogs, Watch Dogs 2.
Ooh,
Now,
that.
now I've heard a lot of stuff. I looked at it and hearing a lot of stuff. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I didn't like the first one. Um,
Oh, a
I
lot of
didn't
people
really,
didn't.
I didn't really care too much for the first one, but the second one may turn turned me around a little bit.
It
I'm
looks
gonna be
good. I
honest.
was like, ooh, that looks lit, y'all. I'm just like, ooh,
And
okay.
it brought out a lot of racism. Like I don't understand. It people are really concerned. You know, people really have issues. I was watching one of Brooklyn Boss, not Brooklyn Boss. I'm sorry. B Shadows, one of his
Mm,
videos, and I left a comment saying that if the only gripe that you have, the only gripe with the character is the color of its skin or its heritage, then the there is a problem. There's a bigger issue here. You know what I'm saying? I think it's about time that we have a variation um, of characters in gaming that are highlight characters that are cover
mhm,
characters. You know what I'm saying? Instead of limiting them to covers on a basketball cover, football cover. You know what I'm saying? Or making them thugs in video games. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
So I think this is a good take, a direction for the for the game, and no, I'm not going to get the game just because of that. It like I said, it does look better than that, but I just figured that is something that be something to address real quick, like, and since we're talking about Ubisoft, and you know, like I said, it's just something that's
I
worth
don't,
bringing up.
and it's just like I just don't understand like why it just seems like whenever, a character of whether it be in a movie or a game, and they turn out to be a different ethnicity other than the majority, it's like people just freak out, and it's just like people, look, there are other races in the world besides just one. Okay, I mean, and it's
Yeah.
not like okay, like you said, it's a good thing that the video games are branching out other than just one race, and I'm just like, and like you said, and if that's people's problem, then there's a bigger issue here than you, and I don't get people, I really don't. It's just
You
like
got
enjoy the game for what it is, and just shut the hell up.
Yeah, but you got to
Yeah.
look at it from a general perspective. I mean, the gaming industry, even though there are a large group of different races partaking in it, is still a predominantly white genre of entertainment. I mean, you could also look at the film industry as being affected by this as well. When
Hmm.
Star Wars came out, they had the black guy. Black guy, he was one of the main characters in the movie. They didn't like that. So I think that
Hmm.
it's when you have a main black guy as the protagonist or the main character that you play with in the game, and you have to play when you have no choice. I think
Hmm.
that it rubs a lot of people the wrong way because you look at Gears of War, they had Coltrane in it, but he wasn't the main character. But it was cool for him to play the background,
Hmm.
and that's the problem. And
And
I
he
It's
was
think
a
like God.
that
stereotypical
It's
black
like
dude
God.
too.
absolutely. I mean, you can go from that. You can go to Grand Theft Auto. When you play with Franklin, you play with three different characters. But I guaranteed, if he was the main character, a lot of people would have a problem with it. But also, he lived up to the stereotypical, black man image that a lot of people generally contend to comply with and see here in America. And now that you see a black guy that's actually a hero, a black guy that's actually something other than a thug and a criminal, someone that you have no choice but to play with and to experience his exploits in a video game, the general masses are not necessarily ready to deal with that yet. We might act like
Hmm.
everyone's ready to get over that and deal with that, but in reality, in some people's subconsciousness, they're like, well, every other superhero's been black, or I mean white. Every other character, main character in the game, has been white. So why do we have this black guy? So some people don't want to let that go, and that's probably the reason why.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's perfectly
Hmm.
understandable.
Fortunately, he already addressed the elephant in the room. But for Watch Dogs, I say that I've actually been hurt by Watch Dogs 1 because of the graphical fidelity, the vision, and overall kind of took down a little turn for the worse. I actually
Hmm.
enjoyed it, believe it or not. Watch Dogs 2, I'm kind of glad they're embracing a less serious tone into saying, you know what, dude, you're a hacker, you can do all this to the world. I'm gonna run with that, and I'm very happy they went to this turn. And fortunately, my boy already addressed the elephant in the room.
Hmm.
Right, exactly. Now let's go ahead and keep it pushing. We're gonna keep it pushing. Besides Ubisoft, because we got a the
Yeah,
bigger fish to fry, because we got to
yeah.
get to the big part. Now the last part of Ubisoft I want to discuss real quick is the one that I remember before I fell asleep, which was the Assassin's Creed movie that they were discussing. Um, like I said, they were talking about that, and not like I dozed off. Like I said, Assassin's Creed is it's cool and all, and like I said, if they do a movie, that's great. I just don't want them to mess it up, and we're gonna leave it right there. Okay.
Hmm.
Let's get into the big dogs. I'm gonna start with Sony first because I want to make this very, very clear. Okay, I made a post last night asking Sony what happened, and because I was a little unimpressed, I was very unimpressed by Sony about it. What I didn't know was it was the end of the Sony press conference, and that was what was really I didn't really care too much for, and because like I said, they were lacking a lot of things. They weren't discussing the PS 4.5. Um, all I saw was I knew God of War was going to be in it. Um, I know Call of Duty was going to be in it. What other game did I knew was going to be in the discussion? But um, overall, like I said, it didn't really rub me. It didn't really catch my attention until I went back and watched it earlier today, and it changed my mind a little bit. Like I said, I got a chance to see God of War. Um, in which let me back up and say that all the E3s that I saw this year were very precise. They were very to the point this year for the most part. They were very punctual. And once you got started, for the most part, they were going. They were going. They was to the next one. Okay, next one, next one, next one. So they were pretty.
Some of them, not all of them.
Some of them, the main ones. I put it like this: for the main ones, they hit
Hmm?
and they kept it pushing. Okay, so we're gonna start it from the top. God of War. That game looked amazing, of course.
Oh my God, yes, and I'm so glad we got like some form of like footage because like now me personally, I am a very big like God of War fan, and at
Okay.
first I was not too keen on the idea of another one because of of the story, and I'm just in case if no one's ever played, I won't say the story, but I was just like the way that the third one ended, I'm just like. How's there going to be a fourth one? Like, how are they going to explain this? But now that I've actually seen gameplay footage and like I'm kind of not so like anti God of War 4, but like I don't know, like I mean I'm excited regardless because I love that franchise, but I don't know, man. I'm just like I'm just like really we need a fourth one, but but I'm still gonna get it regardless how I feel. So I mean I'm a part of the problem essentially.
Right.
I'm
Well,
still gonna buy it.
Believe it or not, this has been teased already. There's been leaks and rumors that this may be a reboot, but this time in Nordic mythology.
Yeah, basically.
mm, and
Mm.
and Kratos masters fatherhood this time, I guess apparently. Um, Let me see. Let me go quickly. I'm gonna quickly go over these lists real quick, and then we're gonna back up and go in detail. Next up is Days Gone. That was a pretty good little game. I think that's a reboot or something else. We'll come back to that in a minute. The Last Guardian, or which to me looks like Shadow of the Colossus, a little bit.
Been a long time coming.
Horizon Zero Dawn, Detroit Become Human, Resident Evil Biohazard, and then the VR stuff. They talked about the VR that's coming available. They had the VR titles, which are Farpoint, Star Wars X-Wing, and Batman Arkham VR. And then, of course, Final Fantasy 15 with the VR extra part in there. Then I saw Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, the Crash Bandicoot remaster, which I have words for that. I have some serious words for that. Come back to that in a second. Leading up to the Skylanders Imaginators, and then I think I missed out a couple other ones. Any other ones after the Skylanders? Which one after
Well,
the
I mean, we only
Skylanders?
saw a teaser for
Oh no,
Spider-Man PS4.
yeah, and then there was that one with
Spider-Man,
that
and then Spider-Man, right?
what was that? What was that one game where it was like a guy and there was like a baby and then he looked into the sky. I had like five different fake.
The
Hideo
Kojima joint.
Kojima's Death Stranding.
That's it.
Yes,
Thank you.
and then there, that's what I saw. There, when I woke up, that's when I saw the Death Stranding I saw Hideo Kojima come out, and that confused the heck out of me. I don't know what that was, but that confused me. Um, and
In
then I
true
think that
Hideo
was it.
Kojima fashion.
And I think that was it. Now let me go. Let's go into detail a little bit about this real quick. Now,
Hmm.
um, the Horizon Zero Dawn, that looked amazing. That
Oh,
looked
that
great.
was so beautiful.
That looked great. I liked it. That woof. And Detroit Become Human. What the heck? It's one of
That,
those Telltale type games where you can
hmm
choose your own story. That was pretty good. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that one really blew my mind. I was just like, at first I was just like, and then when they said, and it was like, you have to like create your own story. I'm just like, I love it.
Now I'm going to say, let me jump down. The VR doesn't really catch my attention right now. Like I said, I'll see. Now I will give it credit though. I'm gonna
Mhm.
give it credit because it looked better than what I thought it was gonna look. It's not as cheesy as I thought it was gonna look, and I give it that. That far point looked really legit. Looked real legit.
Mhm.
I if I had the money, I'll get it. If I had a PS4, I'll get it. But and then of course Final Fantasy 15, I'm already looking into that. The VR experience, not so
Not
much.
so much. Yep.
No.
Yeah, the VR experience on it looks cheesy, like they just forced that on there. The Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Now, the story on that, that little portion that they showed, I thought that was the VR joint, but it was Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. That actually
If you
kind
ever played Mass Effect, you're feeling right at home.
of
Yeah.
right, pretty much.
Yeah.
That it looks like a Mass Effect.
Well,
Um,
they have to try something different though. You got to understand. I mean, it can't be the same run around Earth, shoot, bang, bang, and get a kill streak going. I mean, they had to bring a story element which was different, and that's going to capture the audience. I mean,
yeah,
remember, they don't want to become what Evolved is. It's just a game that's no story and it's just multiplayer, and they're running the risk of doing that. So that's why they kind of pushed this what we saw at E3 this year. And I agree. The VR, I just don't see what who's going to want to buy that. Especially at $399. You know what I mean? Like you got to bring something else that's going to be more entertaining. To the table than that.
right. And and
Mhm.
and the story, yeah, exactly. And then the story, like I said, it looked pretty good though. I like what they did with it. It looked interesting. But I'm gonna come back to that in a second. This is what got me right here. Crash Bandicoot Remaster.
Don't
Crash
need it.
Bandicoot. True, but wait. I wouldn't mind it actually. I don't mind it. But this is what threw me for a loop. They said Activision. They said Activision was doing. Now I don't know if Activision is doing the Skylanders portion. Okay, but
Mhm.
or I don't know if it's just Skylanders or if they're doing the whole 1, 2, and 3 remaster. Now, if they're doing just the Skylanders, the Skylanders, I'm cool with that. But if they are doing both the remastered and Skylanders, I have a problem. Reason being is Naughty Dog is right there.
Yeah,
Naughty
but they're not
Dog,
going to touch that.
but Naughty Dog is right there. I can see if this was like Technos, what they did with what's that game, Double Dragon. Okay, the company that originated Double Dragon, Tecmos, they're out of business. Okay, and then that they had bad direction of who Billy and Jimmy were supposed to be and all of that. They had bad direction, and they're no longer here, so you really can't get direction from them, supposedly. But what you got Naughty Dog right there. They just got finished making Uncharted 4 for you. What the flip?
Yeah, but
I'm
who really wants a Crash Bandicoot game? Like this generation don't even know what Crash Bandicoot is. So I mean, it's like
True.
like it's not like a game that is that's on mobile that they just importing over. This is a game that they're trying to either remake or rehash or put a new spin on it. I just don't see Naughty Dog touching it because they're I don't see the game that they get out of that. Like, what could they possibly get out of that?
well, other
This would
than
be a three
go
piece for
ahead.
me. Just like the VR, it's Crash Bandicoot, basically like a niche targeted
Mhm.
audiences. The PS4, I think, to me, lives on the nostalgia of the PS1, PS2, PS3,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they're getting out of. Now, mind you, it says remaster. Most remasters tend to be just like basically giving the game a new coat of paint, and that's what I think this is. And that's it. Nostalgia, really.
I and that's true. While that's true, and I'll give you that.
Mhm.
My thing is I don't Activision though. Activision, I don't know, not Activision. They've already screwed up enough. They screwed up Call of Duty for crying out loud. Okay, I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just my rose-colored glasses kicking in with the nostalgia factor because I'm like, Naughty Dog is right. I'm like, so what's Naughty Dog? Chopped liver? Like what the heck?
Mhm.
They're clearly working on Last of Us 2. We heard it right here, guys.
Yeah,
Right.
but
You, you,
they're not.
you still have the Tokyo Game Show, you still have the PS experience, and you still have
Right.
the December Game Awards show. It's
Right,
still too early in
exactly.
the year.
I
I don't
agree
know.
with you, LG, because I think even Naughty Dog is like, yeah, why don't we have this? Because in Uncharted 4, you can play, it has that little scene where you can play Crash. So it's
Yeah.
like, maybe they was like, yeah, what about us too?
Right. Now maybe it's just because it's the remake. Like I said, but I
True.
don't know, maybe because Activision is over Skylanders, correct? If I remember correct, right?
Something like that.
If my memory serves me correct, they are. So I'm thinking that's what my thought pattern is going towards. They're just doing the Skylanders version of him. You know what I'm saying? And if they do
Hmm.
remake it, then I'm not saying I won't play it if Activision remakes it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying since the company's there in business for one and there, why not use them to some degree? But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
it got to make sense. Like, it got is it going to bring in a larger crowd or different demographic of gamers that want that game? Like, yeah, if you
yeah,
crowdfunded this, then that's completely different. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But this is going to have to come out to the studio's pocket, and if they're not going to get a major kickback or return on it, I don't think they're going to touch it. They'd rather work on
true.
something for 3 years and then make a blockbuster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I understand. I understand it. Like I said, it was just my thing. Maybe like I said, it was the nostalgia factor kicking in. I'm like, wait, and the business sense is like right there. But and let me discuss Hideo Kojima's
Ooh, don't get me started.
game, which I don't. Oh, Kojima, what are you doing? I don't know what that was. Like the baby being born, the male baby being born of the male person with the C-section, and
Hmm.
I don't know what was going on. That confused me, and like I said, I was just waking up, so I'm like, I don't know what that was. That threw me all the way off.
Like a
Now
cryptic
I'm
message.
a
And
fan. What?
it's like a cryptic message from him to us. Like, it's something weird behind it. Knowing him, like, he's a weird. So, you know.
Right?
Big fan of
He's weird.
Kojima, and he did it before when he was about to release Metal Gear Solid 5. At the time would be Phantom Pain. They actually
Yeah.
hid the title behind the Phantom Pain, and then once everyone was like figuring it out, they colored the title screen and it showed Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain. I'm very excited. I actually like it when he screws around with me, with my mind. Very excited for the coming months and hopefully next year.
Right.
What's and my only thing with well, I'll go over that part, my difference. What also made me make that post about Sony in the first place. But I'll hold on to that, and then I think I got everything. But I'm like I said, I'm not talking about Final Fantasy 15 again yet because they talking about that in the Xbox. Like I said, the Call of Duty, of course, they had some extra stuff in there. Like I said, they had a little extra stuff for PlayStation because now they're switching over to PlayStation now. Big whoop. Yeah. I don't know
I
why they should have
I, I
just.
could have I would have been fine if this title stayed with Xbox, to be honest, because that's an extra game reveal for us.
Yeah, I guess. And then of course they added the extra, the Modern Warfare stuff, the extra I think the extra campaign stuff, right? I think that's what that was.
I think the only thing we get is that we get it 30 days early.
Mm.
Okay, get a full month early. Big whoop. Okay. Well,
And it wasn't
well,
like,
that's actually
and
pretty good.
also like it isn't like when you get one game, you get like another one or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And
All right,
no
but
offense, I kind of tuned Call of Duty out. No offense.
hey, you're not
If
the
it's
only
not
one.
trending,
I
I
don't.
wouldn't.
I totally just I just tuned it out. I was actually looking at my phone like I'm sorry.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and last but not least, we're gonna talk about the Microsoft E3. Um, I'm trying to contain my excitement for this one. Of course, they started. Let's go ahead and go down everything the list here. They started with the Xbox One S, then came out with Gears 4, then the Killer Instinct. They revealed General Ram. I was gonna say General Ram, but it's General Ram. Um, then they have Forza Horizon 3 with next up with Recore, Final Fantasy 15. And then they started talking about the Xbox Live Online stuff with the clubs, looking for group and arena. Then they showed off the indie games, ID at Xbox indie games. Then they showed off Gwent. Also, I forgot to mention they put in Mine And then they did Tekken 7, Dead Rising 4, Scalebound, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, Halo Wars 2, and then last but not least, Project Scorpio.
Hmm.
Whew, good
Wow,
lord.
that's a lot. They did their
Yeah,
thing
Mm.
though. I must say that first, but I think that the smaller Xbox and then also releasing the fact that they're going to be releasing the Scorpio next year, I didn't see the point of that because it's
Mhm.
probably going to
Right.
kill the sales because people are going to be like, well, I'm just going to wait till the powerful one come out. I'm not even going to buy the smaller one, which I'm not because I have another external hard drive that's going to hold me over until the Scorpio comes out. So I kind of feel bummed out by that. Gears of War, very underwhelming. Very underwhelming. Not impressed with what I'm
What?
seeing. Not impressed. I know it's only
What?
E3, and they didn't show much, but they did show some. I mean, the
Mhm.
gameplay looked like a safe Gears of War. They're playing it safe. They're not trying to do too much, from what I saw.
Mhm.
Nothing to say
Okay.
here because I'm not really. I just got on Xbox and I just have an okay view of Gears of War.
Okay.
It
Your,
was
your mic
I.
is starting to crack. Your mic is starting to crackle again.
Have no rest for the weary.
Okay, wait. No. Okay, now it's better now.
But
Okay.
I just got on
Okay.
Xbox, so it's kind of there for me.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
Sigh. It was I. It was I.
Gears. You know what? I'm not a big Gears fan myself. Like I said, but I liked it. I liked the way they presented it. I liked some of the new stuff. Um, I liked the way it looked. Okay, I liked some of the drastic changes they were making in the story. And I did like now the whole presentation of this one. I did like how most of the game they had gameplay. For one, everything was pretty much
Mm.
gameplay. For
Pretty
one,
much.
and everything on this one, which Sony didn't have, most of every game that was shown had a date,
Basically.
had a date to it. September is going to be crazy. I'm telling you, September and in the holiday season, Xbox is going to be killing it right now. Of course, the General Ram thing. Actually got a chance to play him this morning, and General Ram is very interesting to say the least.
Interesting in a good way or a bad way.
It depends on how you play. It's gonna be he's gonna be very interesting. It depends on how you play. I I I can see how he can be somewhat of a douchebag, but I put it like this: Gargos to me is a better choice. If you give me a choice between Gargos or General Rom, I'm picking Gargos. Okay, that's just me. Forza Horizon 3. Now that game looked beautiful. That game
Beautiful,
looked
but that's it.
it looked beautiful. I did like how you can jump in from the ability from jumping from from one player to another. The dynamic. They said they're gonna have dynamic weather. Okay, dynamic weather. So that means the weather doesn't is not perpetual rain in one stage or one area of the game. It's going to be different. Basically, the weather is going to change, and not to mention when if we say we're all playing a game and I invite y'all to my game and it's raining in my game, it's going to rain in y'all's game too. Basically, if y'all join my game, if that makes sense.
No, no, it does. It makes perfect sense.
I
Um,
kind of wish they could have did more though. I'm gonna be honest. I mean,
okay.
I mean, it's like they kind of annualize Forza now, and I
Oh,
get the
true.
whole co-op and being able to get in and switch in and out with ease and the dynamic weather. That's cool. The other games kind of had that to some extent. I was looking for different modes, a different experience. I still play Forza 5, and I still have Forza Horizon, and I play those, and I'm content. I didn't
Yeah.
think that they really needed to bring this game out this year. I thought that they could have took a year off and said, you know what, let's get this next year, 2017, and drop this because, you don't want to oversaturate and burn out people who continue to play your Forza games. And like I said, the game looks beautiful.
Call
It's
of
taking place in Australia. They've never been in Australia before, and it's a different
right.
setting, different environment, different vehicles. I was just hoping for a different experience.
A different experience. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Recore. Recore. Now that this game Recore. Now I'm the wait. I got my mind mixed up. I think Recore was the one.
That's where you
I
have
think.
like the little like dog and you're like exploring like ruins and stuff like that.
Hmm
I think yeah,
Yeah.
basically. That's
Yeah,
one game
that's
I actually am excited, kind of excited for. I need to see a little bit more about it. I mean, to be honest, we still really don't know much
yeah,
about it. And this game was announced last year,
yeah.
so I'm just like, okay, hey,
Honestly, this is a niche game too. It's actually made by of Mega Man fame producer KJ Infamy.
mm,
Really? Oh wow. Okay.
The guy, the man, the brand, the man, can't talk either. The guy behind the brains of Mega Man is actually the one developing this.
Oh,
man.
okay. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Now, Final Fantasy 15.
Woo, yes,
A long time coming too, just like the last Guardian.
please. I'm just like, please. Why can't this game be in my house right now so I can play it?
Did you
Well,
pre-order the collector's edition?
it's
Uh,
going to be September 30th, so you'll have it. I mean, by
no, I
September.
know, and I'm so excited.
It's
Hey,
a long time coming.
yes, it's a very, very long time coming. I'm just like, what is it? We've had to wait like almost like freaking like 10 plus freaking years,
I
and I'm
will be
just like,
playing this game until
oh yeah.
Battlefield 1 and
Look,
Titanfall comes out.
look, I've already told people. I said, look, the day that this game comes out, don't expect to hear from me. I'm burying myself in my room. Be like, peace out, oh my family. I am just gonna be immersed into this game.
Hey,
I'm
whoa.
Okay.
excited.
What you think, boss?
Final Fantasy. Listen, I think Final Fantasy X is the best Final Fantasy game ever made. And
No, I don't blame you.
Easy.
That's no, I agree. That's my favorite too. I
that's
love
my
Final
favorite.
Fantasy, and I
And
love it.
absolutely, these characters that they introduced, I don't know much about them. I'll be quite honest. I really
Hmm.
don't. I'm not invested in them. They're not making me want to care about them. If they brought
Right,
back Titus or something like that, I'd be like, yes, Titus is back or something. But they didn't do that. This game, like I said, looks marvelous. It looks beautiful. It's going to sell well regardless because it's a Final Fantasy game. And like the young man
Yeah.
said, this game is a long time overdue. So it got to live up to the hype. But I'm happy to see it's back though.
Yeah, I
yes.
think it's going to live up to the. I think it's going to live up to the hype,
Hmm.
and not just because it's Final Fantasy. Yeah, you heard me. Street Fighter. Yeah. Um,
Ooh, ooh.
I'm serious. Like because I'm serious. Like I think this game will definitely sell well. I think it will. I think it'll live up to the hype because, like I said, it's not just because of the name itself, but Final Fantasy does have a great reputation for their characters. That the Final Fantasy story in itself is deep. The only thing with
Right,
Final Fantasy, every Final Fantasy is a different iteration in itself.
right.
So every Final
Can
Fantasy,
I say one? But can I just say one thing
go ahead.
though?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
I am just hoping and praying, okay, that unlike 13, this story is not just so convoluted to a point where it's so hard to understand. And because 13, my biggest problem with 13 was I didn't get the story. And the reason why I agree with Boss as far as 10 being the best, you understand the story. Like, you can look
Yeah.
at that game one time, you understand the story. You can watch it, and it's just a fluid story. Nothing's too, like, convoluted. It kind of sticks to a certain point. There's no, like, real huge big words that you're just like, what? And no real, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just hoping that the story is just not something too convoluted. Yes, I want some depth, but I don't need it to be too like what's what I'm looking for? Where it's too complex, like perplexing, and just I don't need that. And just keep it simple, and we'll be good to go.
Don't
So
worry,
Yeah.
yeah,
the guy
It would.
behind Type Zero, he actually made the story himself. Great guy with a great vision. I think we'll be fine.
okay. Like I said, hope so. That's all I ask, cause 13 story. There are certain things about that I still to the day don't get.
What
People
you
turn
gonna say?
into crystals. That's basically it, and they turned evil.
It's just like what the world. But anyway.
But yeah, what was you gonna say, boss?
No, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. My bad. But yeah, I like it. Like I said, 15 is gonna be interesting to see. I didn't. Now 13, like I said, now I do like 10. 10 was great. Blitzball was amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
One of
This
the
ball
best.
hype.
One of the best side games in any Final Fantasy besides Final Fantasy 8's card game. I think that was
Oh
pretty good
yeah.
too. But I think, like I said, I think it's gonna work. we'll see. We'll see what's up. Like I said, I like the platinum demo that was out for a while was pretty good. I liked it. But moving on to the Xbox Live stuff that they were discussing, which was actually really good. The clubs on the Xbox Live, Looking for Group, and Arena. Those three in itself, I think, were great. I think they said those are rolling out over the summer. So that's going to be pretty dope.
And I think that's the only thing that saved Xbox. Sorry, Xbox people. Even though I clearly have an Xbox now, I like the vision Microsoft was going with, revamping the core experience for the gamers. When you first saw them at E3, they were talking about TV, 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 just pulling TV. And I'm actually happy that they cater to the gamers. Oh, you're a competitive gamer? No problem. Arena will get you covered. You wanna be competitive? Looking at you, LG, with what was it? Killer Instinct.
Oh God.
And then for the casual gamers, I won't call myself casual, but I also like the complete story content. Destiny, for instance. The LG will be amazing for people who don't want to go on the computer. They can do it straight from the box.
Right, exactly. And then real quick, the Minecraft. Now that was kind of a little underwhelming because I don't really play Minecraft very much.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was interesting for like they're connecting everything together on one, so you can get like an Xbox achievement while you're playing on an iPad or something like that. The fact in itself that the whole Minecraft community has a great number of players across multiple platforms is great. Of course.
What was the number that they said? Was they say like 100 million or like 10 million?
It was a big
100 million sales.
I was just like 100 million people play this game. Great day.
I mean,
and that's what I was talking about the Crash Bandicoot niche. It's a niche game, but the people are there.
Yeah.
Exactly. What were you saying, boss? Oh, my bad.
No, I was just going to piggyback off of what he said. Like he said, there's a niche crowd that plays it, but this is a game also that not just appeals to adults, but it appeals to children as well. This is like a Mario that Microsoft has, and thank God that they bought Mojang.
It's a cultural icon.
You know what I'm absolutely. It's going to be able to transcend generations. So, like you said, this game can never get old, and it's smart for them buying it because it's going to constantly reap benefits and upgrade and support as the game ages. But yeah, it's a great game. I like it.
Okay, the next one is the indie games ID at Xbox. They were showing that off for a minute. Whoa, I liked it. Like I like the fact that now a lot of these indie games are actually looking really. A lot of them are looking really legit. Like I'm still waiting for Cuphead. I can't wait for Cuphead.
I know, right?
We Happy Few. They showed the demo to We Happy Few.
That was very unsettling.
Very.
Oh my God, that game, it was so like eerie, but it was eerie in like a good way.
Yeah.
At least for me, like I was just like, okay, this looks really mentally deranged, and for some reason, why I like it.
It blew your mind. Like, oh, we got to down. Like you sitting there, like the part that got me was the piñata part.
Oh my God,
man.
that part! I was just
like, why is this piano not busting like that? The way they hit that piano, you would think it would have busted by now. And then when he switched over to him, dead animal, and they was eating the dead, I'm like, okay.
This is not okay.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Question: Was it Microsoft that showed off that one game? What was it called? Like Fee? Was that Microsoft?
Fee? Was it Fee? Fee was that Microsoft or was that EA?
I don't remember which one it was.
What was the premise about, if you remember?
Fee was basically, it's like a little like you run like a little creature. You run around and you basically collect sounds of the forest.
Well,
I think that was Microsoft.
It looked like a darker. I think it was a darker. It looked like a darker version of Ori and the Blind Forest. And it was like the colors were black and purple, like black purple-ish.
It might have been Microsoft.
I think it was. But that game, I'm sorry, that game was crazy. Inside was talked about as well, and then they also gave away Limbo for free. So that's pretty cool there. They brought up Gwent. That was the game for the side game in what's that game called? Witcher 3.
I don't know why, but when I first saw that, I laughed. I was just like, we really are gonna make a trading card game system out of this now.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna do it. I mean, I figured.
I was just like, Lord, how did I see this coming? Like, I was just laughing because I'm just like, I saw this coming.
Watch out, Hearthstone.
I was just like, right? I saw this coming.
Watch out.
So
Right? We're
I
gonna play
mean,
Gwent. I'll see you at the Gwent table, bro.
like, it's like, well, it's time to Gwent. I'm just like, no, just.
What?
It
Yes,
happens.
I was seeing memes after that. People were just like, "It's time to quit," and I'm just like, "Okay, people, just now stop,
Yeah,
stop it."
internet. What are they gonna do it?
Just,
Oh man. Next up. Next up. Y'all know what? Y'all know what's next? Tekken 7.
ooh,
Oh boy.
oh yes.
Now this is cross-platform, by the way, but they showed it at exclusively at Microsoft. Um, oh boy. I the gameplay footage is seamless. Now this was one of the games that was seamless. As far as seamless transition between gameplay and the cutscene. I didn't know it was a gameplay that like this when they switched from the
Right.
gameplay to the cutscene part. When I saw the little arrow, I'm like, what is that? And then they had Harada playing the game in his classic attire was pretty dope.
Mhm.
He was sitting there playing the game, and it was clean. The game looked nice.
Mhm.
Um, Akuma, of course, looked good in the game.
Right.
I'm looking forward to Tekken 7. Of course, I'm a pretty big Tekken fan, so one of my favorite fighting games of all time. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to Tekken 7. I'm kind of upset though about the release date. I'm kind of upset about the release
Wasn't it
date
like
for the simple.
2017?
Yeah, 2017. I think it was early 2017. The reason being I'm kind of upset is because it's not fair because like it's not fair because they already got it out. They're gonna have it at Evo this year. They're having it at Evo this year, so why not have it at least? I would say holiday, but I think it is coming holiday. I think it is coming like June. I mean not June. I mean January, but they said 2017, so I'll rock with that. Any y'all feel it? Was y'all feeling Tekken or no?
Oh yes, I was feeling Tekken. Like I was kind of like you. Like I did not know that at first that was really like a cutscene. I was just like, what? And then when you basically transition over, and you see like the health bars and stuff. I'm just saying, wait, that was gameplay footage. Like my mouth really just dropped to the floor, and I'm just like, oh my god, that was just the smoothest transition I have ever seen in my life, and I just freaking just fell over, and I'm just like, I want this game.
I,
I'm
Well,
just
I
you
have
know
good
what?
I have good reflexes for shooters, but fighters, no. See me online? No. See me on the couch where I'm not
Oh
playing
no, no.
online.
Well, no, was no. I'm not really the best person at fighters either. I mean, I'm just a big fan of them. I love fighting games. I mean, I'm not the best, but I mean, I still enjoy beating people up and doing specials and all that fun stuff. I mean, hello, now I come from the Street Fighter era. God only knows saying that, especially with like Street Fighter 5, but still was it? Oh, just love that. I love fighting games.
Indeed, indeed.
Well, I like the fact
Um,
that they allow the cross character gameplay in these fighting games that they have today. You know, this is
Mhm.
something that when I was coming up, I wish they would have did with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter back in the early '90s. You know what I mean? Wish they
Mhm.
had those type of
right.
experiences where Scorpion can fight Ryu or something crazy like that. And now you see Akuma in this Tekken game, which was generally slow. It's one of the most slowest fighting games if you're comparing it to like a Street Fighter. And the
Right.
fact that Akuma, is from that lineage, I think that he kind of speeds up the way Tekken is played now. Of course, with this new generation of gameplay and experience, they had to speed up the gameplay and fighting styles and maneuvers. So to see him fight Ihachi, and he pretty much kicked Ihachi ass in that game experience, it was really refreshing to see. He looks really good though in it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and you're right. I'll give you that. I definitely feel you on that. Tekken. I will say Tekken is really all the 3D fighters are generally the slower ones out the bunch because you do have the extra movement, the side movement is what makes it a little bit slower. Like in the case of Dead or Alive, you do have a lot of more counters and stuff like that. Which, if they make another Dead or Alive, that I'm be done. but but yeah, they're busy doing the costumes for Dead or Alive right now. I wouldn't be surprised if I see another one of the costume sets right now. But other than that, I think Tekken is going to be dope. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Dead Rising 4. Oh boy. I'm not a big Dead Rising fan, or I'm tired of zombie games. Let me just put it straight up.
I
But
I feel you on that one.
but Dead Rising 4. I like how the comical approach that they took to this. I like how they, of course, with Dead Rising, you can make your own weapons and stuff like that, and you can make different types of stuff. And I like the presentation of Dead Rising at the conference, how they did it, with the snow and everything falling in the thing was pretty dope too. So I thought that was clean. Dead
Not
Rising
impressed.
4.
Not impressed with it. Not impressed with it. I have Dead Rising 3 on the Xbox One. That was one of the early games that was released when it came out. And I kind of look at Dead Rising 4 and I'm looking at this is like an expansion pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they bring it back Frank West, the character that you actually was able to play with in the prior Dead Rising games. And, it's nothing new to it. I'm kind of getting like you. I'm kind of zombie fatigue. Like they're not even trying to be smart with it or cool with it, like how The Last of Us is doing, or how that game that Sony launched. I forget the name of it, guys. If you know what the game I'm talking about, where the guys fighting like those.
One.
Yeah, that one, or the other one that they also showed at this year's E3, like Home Broken or something like that. The
No,
guys
Days
on the
Gone,
motorcycle.
Days
Yeah,
Gone,
like
that's the one. That's that's what it's called, Days Gone. Yeah. Go ahead.
totally. Like they're not even trying to be creative with it, and you just got like a million zombies on screen. I get it. Like the head count of the zombies is impressive. It's showing the power of the unit, but we need it to be more challenging, more creative. And I think that with this one, it's not creative enough. Obviously, you're going to craft weapons. You're going to be able to go back to the mall that you was in, I believe, in Dead Rising 1, and experience that. It's going to be a completely flushed, open world, larger area to roam. Then you're not going to be timed anymore, so you got more exploration opportunities to do. But I think that with this game, you're going to get what you get for it, and I understand people enjoy it. But I think that I'll just wait for the real zombie rabbit type games to come out that I'm looking forward to.
Well,
I think it's basically that one game where it's just mindless violence, I guess, and some people like that.
Yeah. The mindless violence part is probably a release, like a mental stress relief. But if we can chill out with if I can make that meme, I need to make that meme with that guy standing in the office and say, look, if we can just chill out on the zombie games, that'll be great, because I'm tired of zombie games. I'm sorry. They get annoying after a while. Zombie this, zombie that.
I'm okay with it as long as it fits, my niche.
I mean, look, now me personally, I'm kind of like with LG on this one. I'm over the whole zombie idea. To me, the whole zombie idea went out after 2012. Oh, so it's really been overdone. And I'm just like, can we just get something else besides zombie? Because all the time I'm just like
something. But let's go to the next one. Scalebound. Oh boy.
Oh,
oh boy.
Oh yes. Yes.
Oh boy.
This is
First of all,
this
I'm
is
a
the
big
game.
fan of Platinum Games.
Yes.
Say that again.
I'm a big fan of Platinum Games. Fantastic developer.
Now, when the guys from Platinum Games said it was his biggest boss battles to date, when I was actually watching the Microsoft E3 with I keep wanting to say Brooklyn Balls because they both start with B, but I was watching with B Shadows, and he was saying, and I was sitting there joking. I'm like, how the heck?
Hello.
Hey, you guys are there?
I'm
we're
here. I don't know if he's there.
I think Lawrence is having technical issues. Oh
Might want
no.
to pick up.
I was like, okay. Okay.
Well, this is awkward.
So yeah, guys. So I forget what he was saying.
He was talking about Scalebound
and the big boss battles.
So what do you guys think about Scalebound and the boss battles and what was showed at this year's 2016 E3?
Let me just say this much though: Scalebound is the reason why I'm getting the Xbox One. I'm not even joking. Like this game is the reason why, because that game right there. Me personally, I'm a huge fan of dragons. I love dragons. The fact that you can pretty much have your own pet dragon. It looked like you could go into like your own form or like a different form. I really couldn't see
like a dragon armor kind of thing.
Like a dragon armor form, and like I was just like, oh my god, I love that. That boss battle was just everything. I'm just like, I'm excited. I want Scalebound in my hands. Now this is another game. I'm just like, please, can I have this in my, like? I'm so sorry. Like I'm sorry that I'm just so excited. I'm so excited for this game. I'm sorry. I know I'm being kind of like nervous right now. I'm so sorry.
I mean, I give you that, and I think the only, at least for me, the only reason why I'm getting it is because I respect the Kojima, Platinum Games, great developer and great vision.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you 100% on that. I mean, they do got a decent pedigree and catalog of games that they actually championed. I just don't like the character you play with. I don't get the Beats for Dre headset around his neck. I don't get the cliche tight shirt, Devil May Cry type feel from him. I love the dragons. I love the fact that you're going to be fighting these enormous beasts, and you're going to be able to
Right.
play cooperatively with other gamers who have their dragons and bring their dragons to the fight. So that's
Right.
going to be dope.
Right.
I
And the
just
way.
need to know the plot to the story, or not even the plot. Just give me some type of assurance that this guy, I'm going to want to spend 30 hours on this game.
Right.
You know
It's
what I
just
mean?
like it's like, for instance, like we don't know where he comes from. We don't know why he has the dragon. We don't know, like, did they have like a pact, or did he rescue this dragon? Did this dragon rescue him? Like, give me some story here. Like, give me, like, I mean, was this game was announced? What was it, like, last
That's
year?
it. Yeah.
And we're still not getting any story. And I'm just like, okay, like, I think we can at least get like a character name, or like like some, or what is the world we're on? Like, do we even know that? What
No.
is the world that we come from? Like, what? Like, we don't know none of that. That you gotta think about it. I'm just like, yeah, but no. But I think the reason why they were doing the Beast by Dre, and this is what I'm kind of hoping for. I'm hoping that maybe that was like a sign of maybe like character customization. I'm kind of
Probably. Yep.
hope.
I hope so.
I'm hoping that, because like I hope you get character customization and dragon customization, because I mean, if they don't do those two things, they're kind of missing out on a big opportunity. If they
Yeah,
don't,
you okay over there, LG?
huh? LG?
Hold on, can y'all hear me?
We
Yeah, we
can
can hear you
now.
Yeah.
now. Whew, yeah.
Sheesh, my mic wanted to go out on me. Okay.
It was just like, it's like, you are not gonna talk today.
I
No.
assumed I actually disconnected.
Yeah, no, I thought that's what I thought too, but I was like, no, but other than that, but yeah, the boss battles was freaking amazing. When they said it was good, their biggest boss battle to date, and I saw that boss, I was like, oh my god, that thing is huge. That thing is amazing, and it was a two-parter. But yeah, the whole look of the character did remind me of Devil May Cry, with Beats headphones. Go figure. Dante with Beats headphones. Okay, cute. Like I said, yeah, there was no story. Now, like I said, I did not know. This is one of those things that I did not know was mentioned last year. Again, but like I said, this was my first time seeing it, so I was like, okay, I'm thinking this is something completely off the wall new. So I'm like, okay, this is funny.
No, and it's just like, I mean, was it like I said? I mean, believe me, like, this is the game that is making me get the Xbox One in the first place. But at the same time, it's just
Right.
like, look, I do agree with Boss in the sense of, we do need to know like something, and I just don't understand, like, why is it that, why have we not even gotten like a character name, or what is this dragon? How are we related to this dragon? Like, why do we even have them? What is the whole story here? We don't even know that. So it's just like, okay, can we get something here? Can you throw us a bone? Like,
Right.
seriously?
Exactly.
Because I love the game and I'm gonna get it regardless. But I'm just like, I
Co-op
would
is
like
nice.
a little bit more information. You know what I mean?
Right, and the co-op is nice. Like I said, I like the co-op. The
Oh yeah,
co-op
that
was a
co-op
nice
is
touch.
amazing.
That 4-play co-op kind of reminded me of what's that game? What's that? Dragon Age Origins, or any of the Dragon Age games. That's what it looks like. It looks like a new version of Dragon Age. Now that I think about it. Next one, Son of Thieves, Sea of Thieves. This one kind of, I don't know. I don't know
It's a
about this one.
niche game
I
for
feel
sure.
like, okay, me personally, I just
Apparently.
feel like, I don't know. I just feel like they built it up to be something that it just turned out not to be.
Hmm.
Like, like you were thinking, like, oh, you're gonna go on this really cool adventure, fight bosses, be a pirate, right, and all this
Hard
fun
me
stuff.
too.
No, it's not even none of that.
It seemed like a
It's
Hard me
simulator.
too.
I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
saw the
I
gameplay
called
of
it
it.
I call it Pirate Simulator. That's literally what
Yeah,
I call it, because
because
that's
like
all.
I mean, it
one
is.
person got to steer, one person got to unload the flaps so that they. I don't know. It seemed like a simulator, and I get it. It's a cooperative simulator where you get to play against other players who are on the ocean in their ships, and you get to experience that. Like I said, it just doesn't seem like it got a rhyme and reason to it, and that might work. You know what I mean? But I just need to see more of it though.
Right. Yeah, I
Mhm.
would. Me too. I like I said, it looked okay. I'm not gonna be
I
jumping out
said
my seat to go get
okay.
it. Yeah, I'm not jumping out my seat to go get it because B Shadows asked me, man, you gonna get that game? I'm like, I don't know, bruh. I don't know, man. I
No, like I
don't.
said, they built it up to like something like, oh, it's gonna be this really cool pirate adventure game, and it's just like it's just pirate simulator, and I'm just
It's
like,
gonna be very popular with content creators, that's for sure.
Yeah,
right,
I can see
yeah.
that as the YouTube video. I'm probably gonna be having that for my YouTube videos too.
I
Me and
See,
mean,
Brooklyn
look,
Boss about to
precisely.
be
I'll
going
say
on a
this.
pirate adventure.
Look,
We
I'll
can do
say
that.
this.
We can do
Look,
that.
look. If you do a
All right,
look, if you do an episode of Pirate Simulator, I'll watch it. Me
all
personally,
right.
I ain't playing it. No, I'm good.
But look, Brooklyn Boss, we got to do the voice. We got to have like our pirate voice. That's the catch if
Oh,
we
it
No,
do it. We
might.
please,
gotta.
no, no, no. No, just stick with your regular voices. They're okay.
I know.
Man the cannons,
Man, the cannons.
You're going down to Davy
lighten,
Jones' locker.
lighten, Doc Vin, lighten, Doc Vin. Scrub that poop deck.
No,
Let me quit.
just
Let me quit. Now I'm gonna have Justin scrub the poop deck. How about that? No, I'm just playing. But
Mm.
now State of Decay 2.
Don't do too much.
Right?
Yes.
No, State of Decay
Yes.
2. That now the first one actually I kind of figured out it was State of Decay because of the I looked at the first one a while back and
Mhm.
then looking at the second one it kind of looked similar to it. I haven't got a chance to play the first one yet. But
Whew.
the second one looks pretty good. Like they added some car. I like the opening, how they opened up with the cars and stuff, and they're riding past zombies and banging them with the car doors and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty dope.
Brutal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very brutal. But and this is what I'm talking about. If you're gonna do a zombie game, do it like that. You know what I'm saying? Have it, do something with it. You can play with other groups now. Like when they lit the flare and other people were going over there, going over to help or going over for survivors. I thought that was pretty cool too. And I'm noticing a theme here with Xbox. A lot of their games are multiplayer based. A lot of their games are multiplayer centered, multiplayer. You could play with multiple people. Co-op, and that's that's a pretty good deal. A lot of people are trying to, looking to play together with somebody, and I think that's pretty good so far.
But I think they also taking themselves more serious than like Dead Rising 4.
Yeah,
This looked like more of like a real to life survival type situation, whereas Dead Rising, you're just killing zombies for the hell of it. And
yeah,
I like the crafting mechanics. If you ever played the first, whenever you get a chance to play the first one, or anybody that have played the first one, it's pretty good. It's a pretty dope experience. It came out on the 360, and then they
right,
ported it over to the Xbox One. I think end of last year, or maybe a little bit before that. And
right.
so the game is a ton of replayability. I just like those type of games where you got to think, and this is like one of them.
Okay, got you. I got you. Looking for, like I said, I'm gonna look into that. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Halo Wars 2. I know that one's kind of a downer for a lot of people. Halo Wars is one of those real-time strategy games. If anybody's ever played it, and they're making, I guess it does so well, it's getting a sequel.
It,
And
mm,
it
it's
helps
coming.
for the people who like what's it called, StarCraft.
Oh
Yeah,
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 hmm
oh yeah.
yeah. I can't. I haven't played. I played the first one a little bit, and then I kind of like, yeah, okay, I'm good. I'm done. But if for those that like real-time strategy or they just want to have something to their Halo collection, that's okay. And last but not least, they covered Project Scorpio. Um,
Whew.
oh boy,
Mm.
man, this is gonna be crazy.
I
I
cannot
don't,
wait to
I
see
don't,
that console.
I don't think PlayStation Neo could deal with this.
I don't think so either. I'm not sure, but it's finally. Now, if can somebody answer a question for me?
Hmm
And this is an honest question. I'm not sure. I've been trying to figure out what it is. What's a
Okay.
teraflop?
The computing power. It's basically saying that think of Xbox 360 and think of the Xbox One. If you were to say to render Halo 5, the new one, on an Xbox 360, loading times would be horrible. Xbox One loads it pretty fast, some wait time, but it loads pretty faster than say the Xbox 360. Basically, they're saying that this whatever games that be on that console will be seamlessly.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. Okay. I didn't. I was trying to figure out what that meant because I'm like, what is
Yeah.
it? The flip is a teraflop. Who
It
comes up
just
with
means
that?
computing power. It basically means this console right here will be very powerful, almost a PC, a very souped up PC.
Okay. Yeah, and I was actually talking with somebody about that. I was like, it was like, I think they were saying it was going to be like basically kind of like a low end PC almost
I
as
would
far as
say
computer power.
a mid to high tier
Mid,
PC.
yeah, mid to high,
Yeah,
yeah.
about mid to high. Yeah, I was like, sheesh, that's gonna be crazy. And then of course, everybody was tripping about the 4K, and they're gonna get it on those consoles. So both the one that the Slim that they sold, or they're not they sold, that they're pitching at the beginning, and the Scorpion that they're pitching now, they're both they're both having that 4K capability in there, and this is the part that I liked at the end. What they talked about at the end was the all of the consoles are basically going to work together. So they're not, you know how some people are like, oh, you have to get rid of this console if you want your console to work better.
Mhm.
They're going to have everything, all the consoles, the regular Xbox 360, X360, the Xbox One, the Slim, and the Project Scorpio are all going to work together. For the most part, pretty much seamlessly, and that's, if the way they're pitching it, that sounds good. I would like to see that in practice, but hey, that if they can do it, let's get it. I'm definitely down for it because, like I said, I may not be able to trade in my 360 to get that Slim, or the new Project Scorpio. So forcing people to make a decision or to upgrade is never really a good deal. I I don't care any way you slice it. I mean, if you're, unless it's technically impossible,
Now
I'll put it that way.
this will be a two-piece for me. One for the Sony side of things, and the other will be the Microsoft side of things. Now, for the
Okay.
Sony one, I'm going to clear one misconception. We are
Okay.
Sony, and there's the reason why we go last. We look at whatever you do and multiply that further. Now, like I did say it earlier, there's plenty of conferences for them to reveal the Sony Neo,
Yeah.
the Paris conference, PS Experience, the Sony Game Awards, plenty of other ones. So that's why I'm not too let down by it. But that's just the Sony side of things.
Yeah.
And for Microsoft and I guess Sony as well, I want to clear one common misconception about the new console, which we kind of cleared up as well. This is basically allowing developers to kind of add more options. Like, say, if you have the Scorpio and you want to run 60 frames per second, maybe further than that, they're giving you that option, but still at the same fidelity. It's basically more like frame rates.
Yeah.
And frame rates are key. So if it's a shooter, those extra frames, that extra reaction time, will save your butt, hands down.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, and
I
definitely
agree.
the computer power is going to be a definite plus. Developers, yeah, I've seen what they're talking about, especially on Xbox side, with the developers, being able to get their hands on better options. Let's put it that way. Even making the Xbox One a dev kit, you can do that now. Um, I think that's a pretty cool little nifty little thing. Um,
I think the
like I said,
divisions they can go from there.
But I
say
also
that
think that what's even more important and cool is that, you know what I mean, they're unifying the PC and the consoles, at least when it comes to the Microsoft.
Mhm.
You
yes.
know,
Yeah,
they're
you buy the Xbox One copy, you get the PC copy. I think that's actually a great addition.
That's absolutely
Oh
where I was going
yeah.
to go next. And them doing that is a plus because now you're getting two for one type deal. Also, you know, they're also encouraging cross-platform play with some games. I believe they tried this with Rocket League, where you got maybe PS4, Xbox One, PC gamers playing with each other. I think you're going to see more of that in the future. But also, I don't think we're going to see an Xbox 2 coming anytime soon. You know, because think about it, right? The last gen consoles, they lasted very long. They actually
For
lasted longer than
6
they
years,
were
right?
expected. So I think that this generation, the fact that now you have these new iterations of the same console, but with more hardware, more software, that's going to extend the life cycle of these consoles. It's only a beautiful thing, but also it's a financial thing that they saw that could be very feasible for them because now you got people buying their shit all over again. Like with the
Right.
PlayStation Neo, yeah, it's going to be a beefier PS4, but do you really need it? No. With the Xbox One, which was considered the underpowered console out of the two, do you really want the new one, the Scorpio? Yes, because developers even said that, yeah, it was kind of underpowered and the PlayStation was more powerful than the Xbox One. So I think that overall it's a win-win. I'm going to get the Scorpio. I think that, we could be looking forward to something really good with this thing when it comes out.
Think of it like this. I'm gonna pull it out somewhere. Think of Destiny 2. They could develop a high-end version for it, for Neo and Scorpio, and then they can kind of tinker with it to make it run on Xbox One. So with the new generation of consoles, the upgrades, I guess, you could see getting the best possible one with potential VR support.
Yeah. See, that'll work. And like Ball said, it's a win-win. You're definitely looking at some great stuff that would definitely, in my personal opinion, that would, it gives people options with what they have. If somebody's not able to, like, say for example, somebody's just getting into gaming, and they don't have the best tool, or may not have the best tools, but they love games, they have the option. You know what I'm saying? They have the option. Okay, well, look, let's just get you started with the Xbox One. Get these games and stuff like that. And that's one of the things I kind of omit, and I do apologize about the Xbox One and PC. I like that concept. They was actually preaching that throughout the whole thing, the whole conference. Xbox One and Windows 10, and then there was a couple of Sony people that were kind of pissed off about that. Like, well, that's not really an exclusive. Actually, yeah, it is. You know what I'm saying? That's actually an exclusive. Some people, just because you got a PC, that don't mean you're gonna use it. You know what I'm saying? But it does give you that extra option if since I do play it, which is actually very convenient. So if I play it, I ain't got to pay for it twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have to pay it twice. I pay for it once. I already have my account. I bought it once. I could play whatever game I want. The newest game. If I buy Gears, for example, and I want to finish the storyline on my PC, on my Windows, give me a Windows 10 PC, and I want to finish it there, I can finish it there, no problem. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely, I like the integration. They're definitely working on the integration part very well, and we kind of see that from Microsoft, especially with them being a computing company. I'm glad they're going this route, because they have, with the experience that they have with computers, it would be unwise for them not to do that. You know what I'm saying? With the experience that they have with the computers, PC, them not doing it would be, in my personal opinion, asinine if they didn't do it.
And that's why I said that's what I give Microsoft the most. They're renovating the experience. They're putting everything together. They're making it better for gamers. It may you be casual or hardcore.
Exactly. Now here comes the big question, everybody. Out of the bigger ones, between Sony and Microsoft, who do you think won E3? We're gonna go start this off with Justin, since you weren't talking a lot. Who do you think won E3?
To be honest, I'm more with Sony on stuff because I grew up Sony first.
Yeah.
But I will say I'm more excited about Microsoft this time around.
Okay. Dre, what you think?
Oh Lord.
Here we go.
I would say now. Oh gosh, yeah. So, I mean now. Oh gosh, this is hard because I like them both. I really like them both. But if I had to give one a little bit more upper the edge than the other, I kind of have to be like Justin. And even though I'm a very big Sony fan, and Microsoft really did bring something to the table that is very different, and I have to go with Microsoft.
Okay. Light and Dark Vin?
Very easy, Sony. But now let me continue on that. Sony for games, Microsoft for the technical side of things. In fact, now that I remember, my only gripe with Microsoft, they did not show HoloLens. I was expecting more HoloLens news.
Okay. That's right. I forgot about that. I was thinking about that too.
That was an amazing tech demo it did. You look at it once you're looking at your console, your TV, you look to the side, bam, the game's right there now.
Oh sheesh. Oh yeah, the HoloLens. Oh yeah, that's right. I would. Mm-hmm. They're probably gonna bring that up. They're probably gonna bring that up a little bit later too, like how you said with the other stuff too.
Yeah, same thing with the release dates for the Sony conference. There's always more conferences.
True, right. That's true.
I'll see
Right.
you
But
next year when we do the end of year game discussion. Then we can
Cause
talk
see,
better.
yeah, cause see, that's how I kind of am. Like, I'm kind of like with Vin. Vin, it's just like technical side. Hey, Xbox win, Sony with the games. Cause I ain't gonna lie, God of War for when they did that, drop the mic. Yo, I'm done. And Last
No
Guardian finally
discussions.
got
They just kept it going.
look, and Last Guardian finally got a release date. I'm like, yes.
yeah,
I was
Shadow of the
freaking in
Colossus.
salvation. Yes.
And I'm saying, like, as a Sony guy, I give them that. Microsoft knows their vision and they know what they're doing. Not with games, at least in my opinion, but the technicality side of things, they got it on the ball.
Okay. All right, Brooklyn Boss. Who do you think won E3 right now?
Well, I mean, to be quite honest, this year I didn't look at it as a who won type scenario. Last year I
Okay.
did. I think Microsoft crushed Sony last year, but I think this year overall they were equal, and here's why.
Mm.
They both showed games. They both showed exclusive. They both showed exclusive content. And games that we were looking forward to that they mentioned last year, possibly coming out this year or in the next year that's coming. But Sony, I kind of saw a lot of VR. I saw a lot of presentation of appealing to people who are going to get this PlayStation VR for $399, and I
Yeah.
saw Sony, pushing that, and I saw Microsoft pushing the opposite. They didn't really, like the young man said, they didn't really speak on the HoloLens. I don't think that that's something that is comparable to VR because it's not VR. It's augmented reality. So I didn't think that they were going to push that because they haven't pushed it all year long, really like that.
Right.
But what I did notice was that both consoles are coming out with new systems theoretically on the software side and on the physical side. And I'm going to mention something that we didn't mention yet, and I don't know if you're going to LG, but what is Nintendo going to do?
Oh yeah.
Because Microsoft and Sony are upping the ante. And if you come out with the NX and it's running off of a mobile chip that people are throwing out there that it will run off of, and that's just speculation, they're going to get crushed, man. They're going to. I don't care how good Zelda looked this year because it looked fantastic. I'm looking forward to getting it as well. I'm just not going to get it on Wii U. But if it's not comparable, at least with what's out right now, then they're going to lose and they're going to be in the same predicament they were before because, as you can see, both companies, Sony and Microsoft, that is, are moving on to the next tier of gaming. So
Yeah.
if Nintendo doesn't come to the game ready to hit homers out the park, then I don't see them competing realistically.
You know what? And I really haven't had a chance to mention Nintendo because I think today they were doing they weren't see the thing is they're not doing the E3, they're doing their treehouse.
The only thing they showed was basically the new Zelda and I think
And
new Pokemon footage.
Pokemon right
Not
now,
much of
and
a
it's supposed to
comment.
be 2 days. Yeah, and it's supposed to be 2 days. So it's supposed to be the day and tomorrow, and I don't know what they're gonna show tomorrow. So I'm hoping that they show off the NX tomorrow, or something about the NX tomorrow.
No NX to C3. It's
Oh,
supposedly
that's right.
confirmed.
That's right. Yeah, you're
I
right.
have no faith in Nintendo. It's just
But Nintendo's always been that type to do what they want to do. Like they've always strayed. You know that black sheep of the family, that one member of the family that
You
that's
right.
like they
You
different.
right.
It's
You
like
right.
what's up with that member of the family? Man, don't even talk to them right now. They just different. They weird. You know what I'm saying?
they
Like
bring a weird dish to
But you,
the
they're
you
about
still
as
gotta
weird
love
as
them though.
exactly. They're about as weird as Hideo Kojima right now.
Hey,
But
as a hardcore Kojima fan, I take that offensive.
No,
Oh,
but you shouldn't
whatever.
though. But you know what though? But that's actually kind of good though in a sense because not only are they doing it at their own pace, they march basically like all I'm saying is that they march to the beat of their own drum. And while that can be, that's a good thing, and it's also a bad thing because like boss saying, like if they not coming out at least with some kind of comparison, then they're gonna get crushed, and people are gonna look at Nintendo like, okay, you're just the black sheep of the gaming world. Now you used to be this pioneer, and now you're just like, okay, well, whatever now. You know what I'm saying? We've surpassed you now. But so yeah, I haven't really discussed Nintendo yet. I got to go and look at some of the stuff. But to kind of add my thing on who I thought won the E3 stuff, as far as the minor stuff like between Ubisoft, EA, and Bethesda, I think out of those three, I want to say Ubisoft, EA, then Bethesda. That's third, fourth, and fifth place, respectively. Second place, it's second place is Sony, and then first place is Microsoft. But the difference between first and second place is like very slim. It's like a neck. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
by the hair in
the
each case.
right, and the only reason I kind of like gave Microsoft just a little bit more of the edge, like it's just like about a little. It's just I don't know, like whenever they come to E3, like their presentations are always very nice. I like the pace of them. Like I actually thoroughly enjoyed them last year. I love the pace of it, and I'm just like I don't know, like, and if Sony could get that same pace that they could get, they get it, literally they would just be like on neck and neck. I don't know. It's just I
It
mean,
would
and
have been
maybe
more of
it's
a
just
tie.
me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's just I like the pace of the two. I just like it. I just like Microsoft's pace, and it didn't feel so. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it.
Slow, I guess
It
slower
just
everywhere.
flowed very easily, basically.
Both, and I will give credit. This is why I give credit to both this year because both, like I said, both this year they were very punctual.
Oh
They
yeah.
were paced well. They was like
Hmm.
okay, boom, 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 game after game. The only thing, one of the things that got me between Sony and Microsoft is with Microsoft you had dates for most of your games that you
Right.
announced. There
Right.
were dates. There were dates. There was stuff that was let's get it. Let's move. We got stuff in the works. September is going to be a crazy year. Holiday season is going to be crazy. Because the Xbox Slim is going to start off, I think, in August. I think I got to go check the date. I think I have for that. Yeah, it's coming in August. So, yeah, starting August, September is going to be a crazy year. Holiday season is going to be crazy, especially on the Xbox side. PlayStation didn't really give clear dates. They gave some great games. Don't get me wrong. It's just that not a lot of them had dates on them. Like, okay, when can we at least
Right.
expect this by?
And you did see a bit more gameplay on Microsoft side than you did see from Sony side.
Right, and like I said, like I said, I definitely, and not just because I own the Xbox or whatever, I do have a bit of a bias or I guess a preference towards them, but I will give credit where credit's due. I'm always that type of person.
Hmm.
Like I said, Sony did a great job this year.
Hmm.
They kept up really well. They didn't just feed off of that, the pony hype. You know what I'm saying? The fanboy hype type thing.
Hmm.
Of course, the fanboys will definitely love this year's E3 for Sony because, they'll have some more stuff to care about because it is actually on par. It kept up. You know what I'm saying? It actually has something to back it up this year. Um, I definitely will give them that. The ponies will definitely
The
have something to
pony.
talk about
I
on
love how
that.
you keep referring to them as the ponies.
Yeah, the Sony ponies. Yeah, and the Xbox or the Xbox fanboys definitely will have something to come back for. But I think the extremism on the fanboys, I think they kill it for any franchise or any. I wouldn't say franchise, but they kill it for any real discussion because most of the time they don't come with nothing real, no real facts. But
Mm.
I definitely say it was a neck and neck thing for um, for both Sony and Microsoft.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, anybody got anything else they want to add or take away?
Well, this year E3, I think that overall we can, for the most part, say that it's pretty decent. A lot of us got to
Hmm.
see games that we were waiting for that hasn't been announced, that have been announced, and they're coming. They're on their way. We're going to be getting new consoles, new hardware, VR, etc. Um, what I want to take from that is that let's stop the hate. I'm gonna be
Hmm.
honest. There's a lot of that going on in the gaming industry. There's a lot of that going on in the real world. You have folks in Florida that were just massacred. 50 people died, and you know, people are allowed to be who they want to be, and we should just accept that. Whether it's the color of your skin, your sexual orientation, how you look, whatever, it doesn't matter. You got to live and let live. You know what I mean? If they're not harming you and your family, live and let live for everyone and anyone, especially
Yeah,
in the gaming industry. And I want to speak specifically to black people in the gaming industry right now. We got to unite. There's no unity amongst black people outside of the gaming industry, and there's really not none in the gaming industry. And I see so many other people get ahead and able to do their thing. And I've been gaming for over 20 years. And I just don't see in our side of YouTube any unity when it comes to us. There's only a select few of us that get the opportunity to be on the mainstream and main stage. When ultimately, some of us that are putting out content that is just as good don't get the limelight or the shine like some other people should, like myself. To be quite honest, I stopped making or putting out as much gameplay content like I used to because I feel like no one's watching. I'm not getting any recognition. And at the end of the day, some of us don't do this for the recognition. We do it because it's a love and a hobby of ours. But at the end of the day, you want somebody to say, "Hey, good video, nice video." And
Right.
let's just stop the hate. Let's give each other an opportunity to help each other and to succeed and be better people overall. So that's what I got
Indeed.
from this year's E3.
Preach on it. And matter of fact, that'll be a good closing topic, and that'll be a good closing topic, and actually that can actually be a good topic leading into the next level podcast. Actually, um, hmm, Brooklyn Boss, when I say you're a genius, bro, you're a genius, bro. That's I think I might get that for the next topic. But I definitely agree. We definitely need to bring that unity together. But let me backtrack a bit here. As far as the games itself, the state of gaming, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, it's kicking into high gear. Gaming is definitely kicking into high gear. It's definitely something that is here to stay. When people talk about gaming, is this, that, and the third. If you didn't think gaming was here to stay, you better looking at E3 this week. You better believe it. Like Naruto says, believe it. Dagnabbit.
Oh
Uh,
God.
I'm telling you, it is here. I'm excited. I'm
Mhm.
glad to be a gamer. I'm definitely glad to be a gamer in this aspect. And I'm glad to be um, doing what I do. And is what Brooklyn Boss was saying is on point. We definitely need to unite more, especially the blacks, and we definitely we got to unite more, especially in the gaming industry. We have to. We got to show more love and support for those that that are doing this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like Brooklyn Boss said, it's not it. Some of us don't do it for it, but it's always good to have a good job, or it's always good to have a some form of affirmation. That's the word that I'm looking for. That you gotta have that affirmation. It's definitely it's something that works. It helps, um, whether it's a hobby or not, whether it's a business or not. Like I said, I definitely feel you. Some things personally with me. That's one of the reasons why I kind of slowed down myself, because I was feeling some of the same ways. And I got I technically got numbers. Um, so I'm kind of like, what the heck's going on? And I definitely want to keep pushing my content out there. And I do believe I have what it takes to be out there with the mainstream. And I also understand that with that, all of that being said, it takes a degree of helping people to get to where you got to go to, especially with YouTube. It's going to take you shouting out people. It's going to take you networking with people. Doing things like these. These is what help communities and help people grow. So, yeah, we'll definitely touch on this in another topic, the next podcast. And I want to get some people in here. I want to get Miss K in here because I know she's talked about it. I want to get Brooklyn. I keep saying Brooklyn Boss, but I want to get B Shadows in here to talk about it. We definitely, I think it's definitely a good topic for the next podcast. So, um, yeah, keep that. Let's keep that on pause, and we'll definitely hold that for the next one. Anybody else got anything they want to add before I end this podcast?
I'll just say that, like, was it now in the beginning? I did not think E3 was gonna be good as far as, like, because I don't know why, but like it felt like it was so much shorter this year than like last year, because I felt like we got way more press conferences, or there was just more last year. But I have to say that after this year's E3, as far as like the big three and everything else goes on, I say I was thoroughly enjoyed, and I agree with you guys. We do need more unity, and I will say, as for myself, as far as being a part of the LGBT community, it was nice to see people wearing the rainbow pens and uniting together and showing more love, because, right now, especially with everything that's going on in the world, we do need more love. We do need more so unity, and even in our, within the Black community, we need it to be more unified, because this world is just getting crazier and crazier by the day, and we need to stick together there's people, because if we don't, we're gonna fall. You know, like the saying says, "United we stand, and divided we fall." And sadly, we're falling. So we need to start being united. So that's
With
all I gotta
speaking
say.
of course, I'd like to give a moment of silence for the brothers and sisters we lost for Orlando.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Hmm.
You're welcome. Alrighty. Alrighty. Justin, anything? Is Justin there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't have empowering speech like you guys. Uh,
I like this guy.
Oh man.
one thing I am excited for Mass Effect. I don't know if we talked about Mass Effect, did we?
We didn't. We didn't. But
But just a
that's
side note, I like Mass Effect.
hey, that'll work. Well, hey, you can either play Mass Effect or you can play Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. How about that? That's Mass Effect
I don't know about
4.5.
Call of Duty.
Really, 4.5, really?
I was gonna say 3.5, but I couldn't. I was like, wait, Mass Effect 3, yeah, whatever. But like I said, yeah, you're definitely right. Yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and end this podcast though. I thank everybody for coming out. For those who have left comments on there, I don't know why I couldn't see them, but I would definitely be replying back if there's any comments on the podcast. I definitely appreciate you guys for watching and or taking the time to watch. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for everybody in the panel for coming out to the podcast. You guys, I appreciate you guys taking time to do this. Yeah, we're gonna have another one for those that are just knowing about or just coming across this podcast. This is a bi-weekly podcast, and where we talk about things that are gaming related and also some life things, because games can teach us about life. You know what I'm saying? Believe it or not. Like they say, art imitates life or life imitates art, whichever one it is the two. And sometimes it, switches. Sometimes games imitate life, sometimes life imitate games. You never know. But yeah, you guys can catch us here live on this channel with me and Brooklyn Boss. And be sure to check out Brooklyn Boss, and we'll let you know where to find him. He'll let you know where to find himself in just a few minutes. But before we get to us two logging out, we're going to get to our special guest. Dre, where can they find you at?
As always, you can basically find me on YouTube.com /UAC91, where I do reviews and all that kind of stuff. I got some stuff in the works coming, so at some point still. So you can find me there. Also, now I do have a Twitter. There was a Twitter, which is UAC91, Instagram UAC91, and I think what else? Oh, also on Tumblr, you can find me on UAC91. So everything's basically UAC91.
God, not Tumblr. What? Tumblr?
But I still go on Tumblr
That's
from
the
now
thing.
and again.
I mean,
You can also
get
mention
some
stuff
gifts
on
maybe,
Tumblr.
Right. But Light and Dark Ben, where can they find you at, bro?
Unfortunately, I'm still reworking some of the things around my network, but I am, well, unfortunately, correspondent for the show, and you might be seeing me more oftenly if Lawrence invites me.
Okay, hey, we'll definitely work that together. We'll work that. We'll definitely be in the works for that. Justin, Mr. Dynasty, sir, how are you?
Well, I'm on Twitter at Slowless Network, both of those. YouTube Slowless in Your Face, and I have a gaming channel which I'm being lazy at the moment, Slowless Plays. I have a podcast. I have a couple of podcasts. I have a podcast of my own where we discuss, current events called Slowless Council. And yeah, that's
That's what
about
that
it
is.
for me. Yeah.
I was wondering what that was. Okay, cool, got you. All right. The boss of Brooklyn Boss.
Well, guys, you can find me at Game Craver on YouTube, where I put up a ton of gameplay. You also find me on my other YouTube channel called Brooklyn Boss, where I just cover daily news and things that are pertaining to American people generally, and I give my opinion on it. I hope you guys all enjoyed the cast, even those that are still watching now. Thank you for joining the panel here, and hope to see you again.
Alrighty. All right. once again, thank you guys for coming through. Like I said, I already talked about what the Game Level Up podcast is here. You guys can check more of my channel. My channel is a mix of music, vlogs, and gameplay. I do different videos by the week, so you guys might want to keep in contact with me, via Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and Snapchat, and all that good stuff. And I will give those in just a second. But like I said, for here, just keep subs here. Drop your comments below. Check out my videos. Gamers Paradise 6 just recently dropped about 2-3 weeks ago. Actually, yeah, by tomorrow it'll be 3 weeks ago. So yeah, definitely want to take the time to go check that out. It's a free download, and you can use it for whatever, just for listening purposes, or you can even just put it in your videos. Just be sure to let me know and give credit. So just for keeping records and all that stuff. Big shout out to my gaming squad, the soldiers at game, of course, Miss K. Big shout out to you. Big shout out to, of course, Brooklyn Boss. Everybody in the soldiers at game. The Reboot Gaming podcast. What other podcasts are in there? Miss Lynn's podcast. Gamers at Large. All that good stuff. B Shadows, your podcast, man. Big shout out to you. Also, big shout out to my gaming organization, In Control Gaming, the Barricade. Y'all need to go check them out at In Control HQ. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at 210LG, Facebook 210LG, Instagram 210Law, Snapchat, and all that lovely stuff. And just keep it locked right here. All right, and big shout out to the Dynasty family. All right, y'all keep pushing out that work, putting out that content. All right, well, I think I got everything out the way. I thank you guys once again for coming through, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next time. Peace, and God bless.